Welcome back to episode 6 of the BloodPack, you beautiful people. We have just cleared the raid that came in the other episode. We have just stripped these to Drell off to try and get their kit. We might be able to sell it. It's not going to be worth a massive amount, or alternatively our guys can wear it. And this area over here we have moved the donkeys to. We are planting hay grass there for them, because where they were around here, they were just devastating the rice harvest. Not that it was a massive issue, but you might as well have them on the hay, because then we can grow it, we can turn it into kibble for when we go on adventures, and alternatively, okay, we haven't got it researched, but there is something that the Viking Factions Expanded adds in, which is a little close combat dummy that you guys can fight, and that will increase their melee, which for us is going to be super good because, well, they keep getting in close to our Vulture, and the Vulture are okay, but they're not great in close combat. They do have a particularly small health pool, so if we go here, I want to see what size the Vultures are. So just having a look over the Vulture's stats, yeah, they're not exactly amazing. A life expectancy of 13 years, which obviously isn't great. They only have a hunger of 0.8, which is really good for us. 85% eating speed, but that might be because Mickey's a bit beaten up. They do have some natural armor on them, which is decent enough, but aiming time is 125%, which isn't great. And then global work speed is only 80%. And then, yeah, their other stats, not amazing, has to be said. But then they're expendable, and that's the whole idea of the Vultures. A group from the Krogan Castaways have come in, and they got a suit of N7 heavy armor. They do want a decent amount for it, so that is 6,250, which is somewhat expensive, but then we can also pick up a decent Alliance assault rifle, so that's going to be good quality. So we are getting a bit more armored and armed, which is going to be super good for us. And I think, let's go put the heavy N7 armor onto Trigger, if we can find where it's been dropped, just there. And let's find out who's got a bad weapon. But before we do that, let's go and change Gonk over to GNU. And then let's get Grigas and change this name over to Patrick. And this is going to make the names a little bit easier for us, and they are viewer recommended names. As for the Alliance Assault Rifle, the good quality one, we'll change that for GNU. GNU has a normal quality, we'll turn that into a good quality, and then we'll just put that back into storage so it doesn't rot away. So yeah, that's looking good for weapons. So far this is the closest we've got the colouring, and I think it looks pretty decent. We would prefer this colour on Grugon, but having a little bit of an issue getting to it. So if anyone knows what colour that would be, and they've either got a picture or the colour scheme that we need it. So if we go here, we can see what the colours are. So if everyone knows what the blue, the green and the red needs to be, or what the hashtag number is, and drop that in, that would be amazing. And then we can have like everyone like proper coloured up and looking the correct way. Looks like we're going to have our work cut out for us. We have a raid imminent from Strategic Terraforming Mechhive X-Ray, and then we also have the Geth Collective coming in straight behind. And they are only about 5 hours apart, those two raids, which is super good. That means that we are going to have a massive showdown. And I found out, because we have the Promethean tech put in, so that's basically just reskinned Architect, then we also have Architect garbage. We need to strip down the mechanoids and also destroy their clusters in that, and that's how we get the fragments. In the other series we were struggling to try to figure out how to do that, and yeah, as a little bit of playtesting we figured it out. So this means we're going to be able to start working on Prothean tech. Well, not for a long time, but once we can get to the Prothean tech, that's going to work really well. We sold off a whole bunch of donkeys, we just didn't need them, so some Krogan Castaways came in. So we got a bunch of money for that, and then we also, Moiradoc, we also were able to get him a a nano suit as well. So he's got a nano suit, then we also got Urgnot in a nano suit, and then we also have Grugon. So all of our Krogans are now in nano suits, which means they move a lot faster, and they work a bit better as well. We are slowly getting through this area now, but where the base is getting bigger and it's not very well optimized, there is a lot of travel time being wasted, which is something that we are going to need to work on. Some Mechanoid X-rays have come in, and there is a decent amount of them. So there's 5 Inquisitors, 2 Lancers, how many Ciphers? 6, and then 6 Knights. Thankfully, these are not upgraded yet, or we would be in trouble. And probably by the time they get into our kill zone, the Geth are going to be showing up as well. So this is going to be a pretty big test of our defences. Mechanoids have made it into the kill zone, but thankfully these are not upgraded ones yet. So as they're coming in, we are just gunning them down, he says, as they start closing in. If we can pull the Krogan in onto where the Mechanoids are trying to breach, we are going to have a far better time. We'll keep the Vultures out of close combat. They are okay, but they're not great. And Grugon over here. When things get bad, which they're not quite yet, but they're going to, we can bang out an Overload. That's going to take out their shields and disable them. So it's basically just an EMP, which for us is super good. But yeah, we dealt with those Mechanoids quite happily. They're all going down. What is left over here? Well, they got 5 Inquisitors. When they come in, well, they will explode. That's just what happens when Inquisitors get taken down. But when they explode, they're going to knock out this area here. So it's going to open up the kill zone a decent amount, which is going to be quite good. But in that time, let's just let our Vulture do what they want for a little while. Because, like I said, just behind this, the Geth Collector is going to come in. If the timing works out really, really, really well, what might happen is the Geth will come in whilst these guys are just about in here. And then we can get a whole bunch of them in like one big explosion, which would be great. And let's have a little look. I think we're going to have to actually go back to defensive positions because we don't want anyone running into those Inquisitors. That is bad time for us. Okay, and Mechanoid, Mech Hive X-Ray is going to attack us straight again after this. Okay, that's not great for us. This is going to be a lot of fights going pretty much straight back to back. Okay, yeah, so that area there got taken out and this bit here. So now as things come in, they're going to come into this bit, which is going to give us a better line of fire on them. So we didn't have to mine it out, thankfully, and they're sorting it for us. Let's get these Mechanoids somewhere where we can store them, and then we need to look into getting some machining a little bit later so we can start breaking them down. Geth Collective is already coming in. We haven't even managed to strip out those Mechanoids. We got an area revealed. Okay, yeah, they just came in and opened this bit. Quarian level formal shirt, not bad. And now let's have a little look at the Geth. Okay, I recognise the Geth Prime. The Geth are synthetic tools of war using networked artificial intelligence to coordinate their efforts. 43 sharp, 52 blunt, so don't get in close combat with it. Aiming time 100%, shooting accuracy 96. That's not too bad. Let's have a little look at your Revenant. That's a bit of a beast of a gun. Damage 5, stopping power 0.5, which is nothing. Armor penetration 7.5, which again not a massive thing. 1,800 rounds per minute, that is crazy quick. And a burst count of 60. And they are not going to miss much. 50% close, 50% short, 45 medium and 35 long. So long as we can stay out of their optimum range, we should be alright. Cooldown of 4 seconds. Okay, let's check out the pulse rifle then. 4 damage, 20 shot burst count, 6% armor penetration, 1,200 rounds per minute, range 26, 50, 42, 38, 28, 4 seconds. Okay, in combat expanded, these guys are going to be devastating. The amount of firepower they're going to get down is just going to keep everyone suppressed. Now this is more like it, this is a proper weapon. So this is the plasma shotgun, this is off the Geth Hunter. 25 damage, something that needs to be respected. Stopping power 0.5, doesn't need to be respected. Armor penetration of 38 though. That is quite dangerous, and a cooldown of 1.5. So far, it looks like the most dangerous thing we're going to come up against are these Geth Hunters. But if I'm not mistaken, or as I hope, more appropriately, our overload should be able to disable them. And they are fairly rapid as well. They're not slow by any means. So as they come in, we get an overload down. That should stop them. Well, disable them for a bit, and then we can just hopefully shoot them apart. And I imagine they just break down like normal Mechanoids, which would be quite fun. And we'll just wait until the other stuff comes in. Like that, they're not a massive threat, these ones. And it looks like they will use cover, which is interesting. Then I guess it makes sense. These guys keep coming in, keep coming in. We want to wait until the Prime is out in the open. And that's about the best we're going to get. Okay, one of the Hunters got in. Prime didn't go down, which is a little bit annoying. Hunters are out. They're coming on this side, but thankfully we have a little bit of armor, so we're keeping ourselves safe. Other side, Geth are flammable, it turns out. Which is nice to know. So that's going to mean like other strategies are going to work. But what I would like to see is when Rimeffect gets properly launched and it's all finished and done, that the Mechanoids get taken out and they get replaced with, say, by the Geth and then by the Reapers and then also the Collectors as well. I think that'd be super smart. And then like a faction to be fighting against would be Cerberus. All of that would be absolutely amazing. That'd be like a proper like Mass Effect What you should call it is Rimeffect. Dun dun dun. Roll credits. Yeah, that would just be amazing. That would be so much fun. That'd be so good. And I'll be interested to see where these guys get broken down. I think artificial and unyielding. Interesting. Are you going to give me more than that? No. Okay, they feel no pain. Makes sense. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if they just get broken down on the machining bench. If they do, that'll be fine. We do have a little area now set up for the mechanoids. We are a long way away from actually being able to do much with them, and I don't think just smashing them down on the crafting pile is going to be a good idea. We've just managed to get the Vulture into the beds, so they are resting up, but we already have the next lot of Mech Hive X-Ray coming in. It's not a massive one this time either, so that's a bunch of Ciphers, Freelancers, 5 Ciphers, and 2 Knights, which ain't crazy. And then all of the Inquisitors. What's that, like 7? 8. Cool, that's going to open up the kill zone even more. And I think as this opens up, it's actually going to be easier to defend. So they'll come in, we'll put sandbags in, so then they have to come around the corner and then get forced in. And then it's just going to be a matter of like slotting them apart, which is going to work out quite well for us. We'll let everyone rest up before we move back to defensive positions. They are somewhat quick, but they're not super quick. And I think that is about the best we're going to get. Everyone to your positions. Might have got a little bit generous on the time there. This is pretty much going to be a head-to-head race. I think they might even be there before we are. The Krogan should be in first because of their speed suits, well, their nano suits. And so long as we can get Grugon in position, he can just drop down an overload and should keep them delayed for a little bit. Yeah, I got a bit carried away right there. Come on, into position. Okay, so that's the first 4 taken down. The Vulture are coming in now, so we might have a somewhat of a shot. And so long as they just fight the Krogans, we are fine. The Krogans are pretty beastly in close combat, so we don't have too much to worry about there. We can't catch them on fire, so that's not going to do anything, and we don't really have any other powers. Okay, let's bang down another overload. Let's keep them stunned. A couple of them have adapted. Bit of defense matrix up, just because we can. And yeah, they're just falling quite nicely. And I think what we do is we have a couple guys down here. Actually, no, I like that being a small choke point. We'll just wait for the Inquisitors to come in. We move Grugon over to try and put the fires out, but it also turns out that we have a pretty good line of fire down here from the snipers. So as soon as they come around the corner, the guys at the top can start shooting down. And yeah, Inquisitors just not super dangerous right now, it turns out. Once they get upgraded though, they are devastating. Got more mechs coming in, but it looks like it's a small raid, so we're expecting some centipedes maybe. Yep. And we got quite lucky. They're all heavy charge centipedes. And I think the centipedes and the Inquisitors are about the same speed, so hopefully if we can get them to explode, we can do a bunch of damage to those centipedes before they come in. Okay, this might be a little bit of a problem. The Lancers can stay back here now and blink away at a couple of our guys, because we just don't have the angle on them. So they got a good angle on us, we got a bad angle on them. So what we got Be'lakor. He can't hit them. Who has a sniper rifle? We're going to need to move you to the top. Mickey, you're going to go up and change with Akik. Mickey to here. And then maybe we can get an angle on them. Or is it because we're too close? Okay, we just moved Trigger down. And now Trigger has a line of sight on them as well. So he's going to be able to do a bunch of damage. And what about this one? Anyone on this? Yeah, Trigger is able to. Right, that needs to be sorted sometime soon. We do have a pikeman coming in, but pikemans are utterly useless. Inquisitors are slightly pulling ahead, so they'll just get blown up and then we can take on the centipedes. Centipedes should be a decent little showdown. Crank did get slaughtered. What'd you get hit by, mate? He got a bruise and a crack from a charge lance. That's not a big deal. We're still able to hit that. I'm wondering if when this falls, we're going to have a better line of sight. But yeah, man, Trigger is just doing wonders with that sniper slash assault rifle. There's a bit of a beast of a bit of kit on that. First Inquisitor's just gone down. So as they're coming around, man, they're just going to slaughter. But this is opening this area up, which is not what we want. Unless it opens up like really, really wide. And then I'm sure we could do something in there, like maybe put some turrets, little choke point. We did get a good recommendation about putting turrets down along here, so as they come in, That would be the first line of defense, which is something that we could look into. That might not be a bad idea. The only issue is if you have turrets that aren't supported by a bunch of pawns being able to drop down a load of firepower, they just kind of get spanked. So what we could do, thinking about it, is if we use the open doors, so we should have the manual doors here. So what we can do is we'll have the doors down in this section. We'll have a switch on the kill zone. Enemies start filling into this bit. Then when they're like most of the way through, we open the doors. All the turrets start shooting, mash up their ranks. Then by the time they can turn around and start like launching fire in and being like really annoying to the turrets, we then close the doors, and then that'll force them along. And then if we start running into trouble and there's like a long like conga line, we reopen the doors and then shoot them again, and then we can close them. And I think that would actually be such a solid strategy. So thanks for that recommendation. That's actually a solid one. I reckon we can pull it off, and that is going to be absolutely lethal. Centipedes, thankfully they're not upgraded, so they're not going to be too dangerous. They're just a bit thick, that's all. But those battle rifles have really good armor penetration, so we are quite happy here right now. And that's the last of the centipedes down. Cool. Let's get everything onto haul urgently. And let's increase the home zone so these bits are covered. And I think we might drop the wall along here and then up to there. And then put some sandbags so it's forcing them in. And I reckon that kill zone is going to work out pretty well. This might be a decent shootout. We have the Sanity Destroyers coming in, which are the ferals. And one of them has a exosuit helmet and an exosuit armor. Sweet. If we can knock him out, well, we're going to be able to. We just got to make sure that he can't flee or run away from the map. And then we're going to be able to take that and give that to one of our Vulture. Because the Vultures quite like those exosuits. Okay, the Azara Union is in trouble. Ooh. Not a bad little bit of kit she had on her. Amazing. Okay, cool. We'll go loot that in a sec. We're going to be able to sell that off for a little bit. We've also got smithing done. So what we have decided to do is in here we are now going to tile it, which should increase the research speed a little bit, and anything we can get is going to help by quite a lot, because well, we aren't doing too well as far as research speed is going. We've only got smithing research so far and complex clothing, and we haven't even used the complex clothing. But with electricity, we are going to be able to speed things up quite a lot. Then we're going to go into microelectronics. We probably should get biorefueling as well, and let's see if we can get machining. And then yeah, some machining. That would do us quite nicely. John is caught out in the open. He hasn't quite made it back. John does have a bunch of injuries on him, so he has a brain scar from the psychic pacifier. That's not any good. Left lung destroyed, so he moves slower. Then his left thumb is also shot off. Oh, mind you, he did just slot one of them. That's kind of cool. Not too bad. And we just need to go hunt down Becky. She's going to be one of the first ones in, so I doubt she's going to retreat. I don't think John's going to take too much more of a kicking because, well, he's Vulture and he's already pretty crippled. So we don't need to worry too much about that. We're also possibly going to get, and we're probably going to get the autonomy research, which means we're going to be able to get some very, very crude prosthetics and put them in, and that will keep our Vulture just going for a little while. John doesn't look like he's going to bleed out anytime soon. Oh no, they're trying to kidnap him, and they're right by the edge of the screen. That is annoying, that's for sure. Okay, Krogan, time to shine. So we're just going to run the Krogan through. They'll probably do alright, and we'll leave the Vulture in an overwatch position just so they can give some fast support so the Krogan can break free. We don't have tactical cloak, which is a little bit annoying. One of the Krogan's on fire, that's not a problem. Becky's nearly down. Urgonaut's been caught in combat. So if we can just keep moving, that would be fantastic, guys. Becky is there. She is unconscious. So let's go take her kit off her so that we can use that on our Vulture. That's going to be a lot better. Taken out of context, that is going to sound very wrong. And keep moving. We need to get Townsend. Krogans, move. There's a reason you're in your suits. Okay, no, it doesn't look like it's happening. Oh, hold up. No. Okay, we just lost John. To be fair, John wasn't the greatest that we had. We're just not going to be able to replace him anytime soon. So we're just going to need to make sure that we have a bunch of money buy our trade beacon so that we can, hopefully if he gets ransomed, we can go pay him off. John has been kidnapped. We might have a chance to rescue him. And actually, if we look on the world map, the Seekers do have a base here, here, and here. They're the closest ones. So if we launch a raid out, we might be able to get him back when we attack. But he didn't have any like crazy good kit. We're going to need to move Moradok back, otherwise he's just going to stay there forever. And yeah, a little bit annoying that the Krogans got so caught up. I thought they were just going to be able to run through, but apparently not. And no one's stripped Becky's kit. Okay, let's do that now. And at least we got some exosuits out of this, well, some power armor. But yeah, not too many of the Seekers actually got out. I think there's only like 3 or 4 of them made it. Unfortunately, one of the ones that did manage to get out was the one that had John on them, which is a little bit annoying. We would have preferred to have kept him. Got a drill assault coming in. I think we should be able to deal with this quite quickly. Then off the back of that, we just had a power ship land as well. So we're going to need to deal with that because the Vulture keep having mental breaks. Turns out you can keep them in pretty horrific conditions, but not quite as bad as we're keeping them. So they don't have a table, but they do have recreation, and apparently they don't like eating cannibalism. Well, it's called cooked cannibalism. It's minus 15, and yeah, the Vulture are on a massive fun of that, which kind of makes sense. So yeah, we're going to need to find a new food source. Well, not a new food source. We're just going to need to learn how to use some cooking, so that we can actually produce some proper food instead of having to like butcher everything that comes in. They got no problem with the butchering, that is fine. It's just the eating of all of the raiders seems to be taking their toll on them. And for this power ship, it's a low psychic drone right now, and it's going to be affecting males. Awesome. I think we'll deal with that in a couple hours. We took the power ship down. It has dropped a mechanoid ship reactor, which is going to be an extra 1,000 power for us. The power grid over here seems alright, so I think we drop it into the bedroom for the moment, so at least we know it's there. And then we also got a mechanoid power cell, which is going to be quite tasty because a long way away from now, but at some point we are going to be able to make the mechanoid power cells, which are a fantastic bit of kit and produce like 5,000 power, and those will be awesome for us. I mean, the Drow just seem to absolutely love us in this playthrough. They are attacking again. This is a slightly larger raid. And as far as kit goes, nothing too fancy. Oh, we still haven't moved this stuff. Actually, let's put that onto haul urgently. That is going to be worthwhile taking. And who do we have over here? Belakar, who's about to have a mental break. How come? What is up, buddy? Alcohol withdrawal. Okay, fair enough. And you seem to be moving fairly slowly. Why is that? Consciousness 80%, alcohol addiction, cool. Moving 50%, manipulation 40%, talking 80, and eating 80. Yeah, that's not looking good for you, buddy. And we've also got vanilla mechanoids coming in as well. Sweet, we're just fighting just about everything. Can you... If I take you off here, can you go and... No, I don't want you to arrest him, he'll get all grumpy. To your defensive position. We might need to. We might need to go and arrest him. Okay, Moradok. Do we have a prisoner place set up? Let's put one just yonder for the moment. For prisoners, Moradok, whereabouts you? You're going to need to run down and arrest him. Okay, Belakar, this is for your own good. We don't want you dying or being kidnapped like John was. And to be fair, once Moradok actually gets down there, we should be okay. Because Belakar should be around the corner by that point. And then Moradok just needs to run up here. And we don't actually need to take him all the way to the prisoners. We can drop him off and then hopefully we can get him into the fight again. Nearly. Yeah, we are quicker than them. Cool. That just about paid off. That could have gone a lot worse. Oh, sweet. I just realised we got like 4,000 silver just hanging around there. I'm not quite sure what that came from, but I am not going to say no to that. And yeah, we're in the kill zone. We should be fine now. Okay, draft. Belakar to your defensive position. And then you to yours. I think that played out pretty well. That could have gone a lot worse. I mean, yeah, in any other way that could have gone a lot worse. We just managed to get the guy, bring him in, and now we're in a decent place. that stuff there is getting a bit much, so I think we're just going to bang down and incinerate and just burn most of this kit off, because we are not processing through that at any speed whatsoever. So it's just going to be there, and it's just going to get bigger and more annoying as time goes on. And this way there's a little bit of fire, and it turns out the drow don't like the fire too much, which is good for us. And yeah, with this kill zone opening up, we're able to do a lot more damage, which is quite good. And Crank is helping with his little burner gun. Sweet, that was surprisingly easy. I thought that was going to be a bit more challenging than that. These drow don't really have any armour, so yeah, they're just melting when they run onto our guns. We do have vanilla mechs coming in soon, so probably by the time we deal with this fire, a bunch of vanilla mechs will be in. And yeah, just more things for us to kill. Mordok has decided to go on an ambrosia binge, which is super annoying. Oh, it turns out he didn't like John. That is fine. But yeah, that's not great. We don't want more people getting addicted to more drugs, because yeah, it just doesn't do the Krogans or the Vulture any good. Maybe if we get like some smoke leaf production, but then their consciousness isn't very good anyway. Well, their consciousness is 100%, but they just don't do very well, and they botch a lot of things and fail in building. So with that, yeah, we're just going to have a bunch of even more useless Vulture. Really good for fighting, fantastic for fighting, useless for everything else. And they get really grumpy over little petty things. Addiction 14%. So hopefully that should go soon, so long as there isn't any alcohol hidden around, which would be super annoying if he just done that and then just refreshed himself. Actually, do we have a crypto sloop casket? Because if we do, because we also had one, we could just put them in that until they recover, but it doesn't look like we have one. That is a shame. That would have been super handy. Mechanoids have come in, but they're all coming in like 3 little groups. So that's it's not really a massive threat right now. Let's still... Okay, so those two are fighting. That's cool. Let's get to some defensive positions. And Belikar, how are you doing? Are you going to be alright? Oh, nice. You tagged it whilst running away. Yeah, no, you're down. Left leg. Not a massive issue. I think you'll survive that. Good job you didn't lose it. That leg could have easily been shot off. Okay, pikeman. Yeah, we're good. We also have the chance. Let's go and bang out another incinerate. And try to get as much of this clear as we can. And then we just got a couple pikemen here. Then some more here. And some others there. Belikar is back up. We managed to get him. Okay, no, he's not. Well, he was up for a little bit. And he is back up again, man. This guy does not stay down. Well impressed. Okay, no, he's down again. He's doing alright. He hasn't really got much armour. Moradok's still just moping about, being pretty useless. Alright, so in the middle of the battle, we've just got a slave ship coming in. Let's see if they've got any Vulture for us whilst we're waiting on these slow pikemen. Okay, Vulture. What are you like? Bionically talented, super good, composed, misandrous, kind, pessimist. Can do mining, can do intellectual. Yep, you are ours for the massive price of 800 silver. Cool, anything that we can give them. Okay, we can sell off some levers and a whole bunch of rubbish equipment. They are selling gold, so we're going to pick 100 of that up. We're just selling all of our junk off. And I think that's about it. We have got a kind of social area now set up. It's not going to be great, but they got a TV, even though it's hidden under a bunch of rocks. We don't have power cores, so, well, power lines, so we just put the mechanoid ship reactor behind the TV to power it. There's going to be, 11 stalls there, so there should be 12 in total once that's done. And that should be everyone, so once they get up, they can go eat here instead of running around. So we're going to get rid of the 8 without table debuff. This should give them a little bit more recreation. We're also moving in the hospital beds down to here, so we can have a little hospital, I guess, inside the barracks at the same time. Though I think we're going to extend it out the back. So where we said the rec room was going to be, I think that's going to be a small Vulture hospital. And then we can have a place for all of the bionics and stuff up here, because we're going to need a lot of them. Research lab has been tiled off. We're having problems with like the menial labour tasks. They aren't really getting done. It's just, yet again, it's just the base is too big for the speed of the Vultures at the moment. But that won't last for too much longer. That'll be fine. We should sort that nice and quick. Do have the bunch of mechanoids over here that still need moving. Still got the drill that are going to need processing through. The donkeys just keep migrating in between, and yeah, we are not keeping up with the food production that the donkeys need. But then I don't think that we're going to keep the donkeys that much longer. I think we might sell them off because right now they are just a drain on resources and not really offering us too much. Because what's happening is they come over, they eat a whole bunch of the rice, and then because the rice is constantly being eaten, it constantly needs to be resowed. So the guys aren't actually getting through the rice as quick, even though it is a massive section. We could do with some more vulture. We're going to need at least 2 more crafters, 2 more planters, and then the vulture can fight, so that's not an issue. We're also going to need like maybe 1 or 2 more constructors. We've got enough miners. The brunt of the mining work is done. It's just going to be about getting walls in, well, rooms. So that's not going to take too long. And then we want to get that research lab set so we can start cloning like the perfect vulture and Krogan. And I do have a plan. So we have the ability to remove the mountain tiles. So that means the infestations can't come in. But as you're mining, the roofs can collapse. So that's how they balance it. So you can lose your colonists whilst mining. So I think either we recruit a bunch of really rubbish vulture, take everyone else off mining, and then get all of them to strip out the mountains. Because the roofs are going to collapse. And some of them are going to die. Simple as that. And then, yeah, we just have a basically a slave labour force of vulture going through mining the roofs. So when the cave-in happens, which they will, that means the rubbish vulture die instead of the good ones. And I think we have a couple vulture, yeah, with the cortical stacks. So these guys, we can basically just copy and paste, which is going to be fine. Oh, and this is what I mean about their body parts regrow. So he has a simple prosthetic leg. See if anyone else is got anything else. Man, and more addictions. Wow. Okay, cool. We're going to need to figure this one out as well, because that is that's going to be a slight problem if they keep getting addicted to everything, which I guess kind of makes sense. But like I said, the vulture just aren't very good anyway, so by the time you start mixing in, use alcohol or smoke leaf or anything, all that happens is their ability to do stuff goes down by quite a lot, and if it keeps going down, the vulture are already pretty bad, they are just going to get worse. So I don't know, either we have a far bigger group or we find a way to just mitigate that completely, because we have got it set so there is none here, so there's no social drugs at all. But unfortunately the vultures still take it, which is a problem. But maybe once the rec rooms are set and they're having a nicer time and the bedrooms are done, they won't start having those mental breaks, and without those mental breaks then hopefully they don't go on the binges and then get addicted to it. Possibly. Well, we'll see. We'll find out once we get to it. We finally have electricity researched, which is going to be wicked for us. That means we're actually going to be able to get things and have them powered, which also means that we're going to be able to put some proper lighting in instead of having to use that little rubbish torch post over there. And then we can make a proper power grid going around. So we can use electric stone cutter tables, electric butcher spots, electric crafting tables, which is going to make us considerably more efficient than what we are at the moment. And that's what we need. We need a bunch more efficiency. So we'll put a power line down to here, and then we'll wall that off as well so it looks a little bit smarter. And then I think we'll come across here to here, and then the same on that side, and then wall those off, and then we can put some doors in. So we're using the 3x1 doors so we can go across. And what we want to do is we want them staggered going through, because when the infestations happens, which they will, the heat is more confined to one space than the others. So if you have doors, so you had a door here and a door there, and the infestation happened here, if you came in, put an incinerator in here, the temperature would get up to 1000, but then it wouldn't be too hot in this room, and then by the time it gets to here you hardly notice it. And once the bugs are on fire, they're not trying to break through the doors. So having a bunch of doors set up is going to help us keep control of the infestations, which are going to happen, and there's going to be a lot of them. Thankfully we haven't had one yet, he says. I'm sure there's about to be one any second now, but details we'll do with that when we get to it. And let's start putting these walls in along here as well. And then for the cooling, so I think we'll have the kitchen set along here, and then once we get the reinforced walls we're going to be able to get the embrasures. We'll put the embrasures across here, have the power vents coming out, so that means no sappers or anything are going to try to get through them, but it means we're going to be able to keep the kitchen nice and cold. With a cold kitchen we can keep all the food in there, which means we're going to be able to produce a lot more food a lot quicker. And then off here, I think we'll have a little storeroom to have more food in. And then we can have, not power lines, but ventilation shafts going through, which is going to keep this whole area nice and cold. And that's the plan. I think that is going to work. We do have a bulks good trader from the Surrey Union. But with that, I think that's a good place to wrap up the episode. So thank you for watching the BloodPack. I'll be Conzi, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.